Hello, hello, hi, folks. Welcome. Happy Friday. In hopes that you squeezed more out of your day than the day squeezed out of you. I am Sean Azimi with SideGigSean.com, where I help you look, start, and grow your side business. Welcome. Good to see you. I have an interesting one for you tonight. A lot of you know that I guess my studies, um, I did psychology, emphasis on human behavior, emphasis on child behavior. So I'm really intrigued by child behavior and psychology, right? Even though I'm not a parent, I don't have kids, but I'm very intrigued by kids, right? Hey, did I get the lighting right? I think I got the lighting right. This lighting thing behind me, I feel like anyway. So I came across this quote and it made me really think, right? I actually had something else I was going to talk about this live. And then, I don't know, just a few minutes ago, right before I went live, I was just checking my emails and I came across this quote. I'm like, that's a good quote. That's a good quote. I think I can talk about that. And I think it's so important because kids are interesting, aren't they? I mean, those of you who are parents would tell me all kinds of stories, right? So I don't have those stories, but I do understand that kids are amazing, right? Kids are pretty amazing. Their characteristics, their behaviors, their personalities, shine out and really not shy about saying things. So it makes it very interesting. But have you ever you may have asked this question yourself, but I doubt if you ever hear like a child ever ask this question out loud, right? And I think it's powerful to pay attention to it and pay attention to, hey, should I be asking this question, or should I go back to my childhood years where I never asked this question, right? So what is that question, right? Have you ever heard a child say, "Is it worth it? Is life worth it?" Now, I do want to pause for a second. If you are somebody who is dealing with that kind of sort of thing, then I highly recommend you get in touch with some professional help and get yourself some professional help because I know it's very serious. It's no joke. I get it. The whole mental health. Um, I really appreciate, and I think it's a really serious problem. So if you're one that has, those kind of thoughts, please get yourself some help. If you don't know where to go, you can, drop down in the comments help, and I'll get you some help. I'll search if I have to, and I'll get you some help. So back to the thought for today or the live. You've never really heard a child ask, "Is it worth it? Is life worth it?" We're talking like 3-year old, 4-year old. Is life worth it? Or am I playing with my toys? Is it worth it? Me being, well, these days, me being on my phone, is it worth it? Me being on my iPad, is it worth it? Me doing this, me doing that, is it worth it? They don't ever ask that question. They just do it, right? And in fact, if they want something, listen, I'm not a parent, but I've had a few encounters, right, with kids. When they want something, they don't stop. Like they get so creative, right, in how they finally get it. 9 out of 10 times, right? So you don't hear a child ask that question, right? And yet We literally tie our whole life to this question. Is it worth it? Is it worth it? Is it worth it? That's the reason why a child will take risks, will do things, will jump off, the couch with like head first. Not that I'm saying this is good, obviously. As you're joining me live, let me know you're here. Drop some hearts, drop some comments. What's going on, you guys? Let's go. And so you don't really see that, right? You don't see that, but you don't hear the kid ever say, "Is it worth it?" They take chances, they take risks. That's why when they're about to do something and you're like, "Oh my goodness," you're about to bang your head against the wall. They're like, "Oh, why? Why are you like nervous?" You're like, hello, because that's not very good, right? Glow, glow. What's going on? So it 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 makes them take chances. It makes them take risks. It makes them what? Just be open and really immersed into this world. Vache. Hopefully I did that right. Vache. That's a cool name. Welcome, welcome. Good to see you. I think it's your first live with me. Well, welcome, welcome. Hopefully it won't be your last. But you don't hear a kid say that, right? And yet we tie our whole life to this. Is it worth it? Well, is it worth it to take a look at that business opportunity? Is it worth it to take this product? Is it worth it to go for that walk? Is it worth it to read 10 pages a day? Is it worth it to pray in the morning? Is it worth it to eat well, sleep well, do this, do that? Is it worth it? We constantly ask this, is it worth it questions. And what happens as a result of us asking this question over and over and over and over in all areas of our lives? What happens is that it doesn't let us take chances. It lets us sit and be, yay, in our comfort zone. It doesn't give us the power, the inspiration, the push to go and take chances. It doesn't even let us enjoy what? The moment. It doesn't even let us immerse into the world of today, of the present. You know why a kid doesn't ask, is it worth it? It's because they don't think about tomorrow. They don't think about all these different things that could go wrong. They take that chance, they take that risk, right? Some of you are moms, dads. Maybe you can, like, I don't know, wave or say something. Maybe I'm right. So this is the quote that made me think today by Carl Ove Nosgard. And he says, "What makes life worth living?" No child asks itself that question. To children, life is self evident. Life goes without saying. Whether it is good or bad makes no difference. This is because children don't see the world, don't absorb the world, don't contemplate the world, but are so deeply immersed in the world that they don't distinguish between it and their own selves, which means they literally become one with the world, with the present, with the right now. And I like that. At the same time, you guys, some of you know me, I don't just jump into everything right away, right? There are some things that you want to contemplate on, think about, hey, is it worth it for me to take this? You do your homework, you do your studies. At the same time, you don't want this question to be something that ties you to the wall and doesn't let you take chances and risks, right? Because your subconscious is going to fight and battle, because your subconscious is designed to protect you. That's why when you kind of want to do something, it it tells you, no, this is going to be bad, or this is going to happen, or that's going to, it's trying to protect you because it's something new that it's not used to, right? So if your subconscious is constantly going to fight that, it's going to be the same thing here, because now the norm is for you what, to keep asking, well, is it worth it? Is it worth it? And if you start lowering the bar and not ask everything, hey, is it worth it? Is it worth it for me to go for a run, for a walk, eat this, sleep there, boom, 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 right? If you if you stop having this question become like a tie to you and not allowing you to move forward and progress, you know that you're asking it at the wrong place, right? Because there are places where you do have to do some evaluation. You do have to check to see, make sure, it's with your MVPs, your morals, values, and principles, right? But again, don't let that become a factor or an excuse where you use all the time and so, oh, I don't know if it's worth it. Don't be using it like that as an excuse and say, well, it's not worth it for me. It's not worth it. Is it really not worth it? Or are you just being lazy? Or just piling up excuses that like look good, sound good kind of thing, right? And I'm talking to myself too. You guys know I always talk to myself as well. Work in progress, right? So you got to be careful when you throw that question around. Is it worth it? Some things they're worth it. I want you to pay real good attention here. Some things you already know they are absolutely worth it. But you ask that question because you're looking for things to come up to actually stop you from doing it. Somebody needs to hear this tonight. When you start asking that question, you're starting to put doubts in your head. Okay. Anybody that you yourself, whenever you say, well, I'm going to think about it, or I'm going to do this, or I'm going to do that, I'm not going to do it right now. What you're telling yourself, and don't fool yourself, please. Okay. Don't fool yourself. What you're telling yourself is this. Well, I'm going to think about it, which means I'm going to look for different excuses and different thoughts that would tell me, no, this is not a good idea. Because when you think about it, you're not going to go think about all the positive things that product or that opportunity is going to bring to you, because otherwise you do it and then you figure it out, right? So got to be very careful where and how often you use, is it worth it? Because sometimes you're asking that question and you already know the answer, but you're looking for a way out. Or maybe I'll do it, but that means no most of the time. Yeah, one thing is, this is one thing that I'm starting to practice, and maybe about a couple weeks, 3 weeks ish, something like that. And it's keeping your promises to yourself, right? Because you can tell somebody, hey, I'm gonna buy it, or I'm gonna do that, or I'm gonna join, or I'm gonna do this, or I'm gonna do that, or I'm gonna, all that stuff, and then you don't, right? You don't, but then you gotta check to see where else in your life you're doing that with yourself. Where else in your life are you not keeping the promises to yourself? One example that I got from my mentor is, when you set the alarm at 6:45 and you hit the snooze, You already broke your own promise to yourself, because you promised to yourself you're gonna wake up at 6:45. Why would you set the alarm at 6:45 if you weren't gonna wake up at 6:45? So you already broke your own promise to yourself. So and that's like first thing in the AM, and then you're talking the rest of the day, right? So yeah, absolutely. And I'm definitely guilty of that. I'm not somebody who is. Uh, yeah, I'm definitely guilty of that. But I think that's an important question to be really careful how often and where you throw it around. Again, it could mean, hey, you know, am I starting to create like these excuses and really dig for? Because here's the, I'll leave you with this. Um, Whatever you shall look for, you shall find. If you look for reasons why not, guess what you're going to find? Reasons for why not. You're not going to find reasons for yes. If you're going to look for, "Oh, you know what? I knew it. I knew it. The box they use is light brown." Whatever, right? If you're going to look for something negative that's going to come, you're going to find it. Whatever it is, you're going to find it. So be careful what you look for. Then that's the danger, because when you ask that question, you throw that question out there. Is it to fish for excuses and things to come up for me to talk myself out of the whole thing, or not? Right. So that's a whole other life. But I'm glad you brought that up. I'm very glad you brought. That's a really good point. So hopefully you guys got some. I'm exhausted. I don't know if you can tell I'm not. I'm exhausted. I'm going straight to bed. We've had some Ray Higdon training, and I haven't gotten much sleep, you guys, for the past 3 nights. So this night it's sleep tight. So anyway, I don't know. Digress. Hopefully you guys got some love, some inspiration, some value. Be careful how often and where you throw that question around. Really do. And yeah, if you feel like this was worthy of sharing, do what you got to do. Spread the love. Tag a couple people. Share it. Don't be shy. And with that, I am Sean Azimi with SideGigSean.com, where I help you look, start, and grow your side business. Signing off until tomorrow, when we do it all over again. Much love.